The backlash against woke people has begun, and it's just getting started. These people aren't afraid to run their nonsense in our faces, so why should we sit quiet? Warning, sensitive snowflakes may melt in 3, 2, 1.
Men do not menstruate. Only women menstruate. Now, you can call yourself
Cis men,
whatever.
trans men do menstruate.
No,
Same
they
as
don't.
non-binary people.
Only women.
Menstruating is not exclusive
Yes,
to
it
cis
is.
women. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So explain to me as to why my body
if you are,
menstruated at
if
some
your
point
chromosomes are XX and you're young, you menstruate. If you're XY, you don't.
Correct, but what about trans men and non-binary? We're
not
excluding
men.
a whole group of
They're
people
women
that
dressed
menstruate.
as men.
Well, what's a man to you? You define a man for me.
You have chromosomes that are X and Y. That's what a man is.
So why are we just looking at the science of this as an
The
example
science.
when we've learned sex and gender identity are they're completely different things.
They're not completely different
They are
things.
completely different.
Completely different words.
You're born with, the sexual reproductive organs you have. Gender is what you identify with. They're completely
Well, I don't
different
accept that
things.
distinction. You have to argue for it. You're just giving a conclusion. You're just making it up.
The longer I live on this planet, the more I understand why roosters start their day screaming.
But it's because white men have historically done so much shit. They're just
So
asking
you
you to
do
stop
agree
for
with the
once.
anti-male posture. So your
No,
true
I
radical
don't.
feminism
I don't
comes
agree
out
with it.
after 10 minutes of cross-examination. Before you said, I have no problem with men. Now you said
you're
it's
saying
because
you do.
white men have done a lot of shit.
Yeah, but-
Now we get to revealing who you really are.
But
which
that
is
is
a
what feminism
hateful,
is.
angry person.
They just hate men. There is no other platform.
They don't hate men. They're just.
You just
there's
said-
no problem. There is no problem with analyzing the actions of men in history and condemning them.
You mean like
What about all the
World
good
War II?
ones?
You know, the ones
What
who
about all
died
the good
for our
ones?
freedom. So that's wrong. We can't do that.
Like defeating the Nazis?
Or people, men who had invented anything that men have invented, we can't use anymore.
Slavery
So
wasn't
there's-
ended in America because
there's
women were
positives and
fighting.
negatives.
They want equality, but when it's time for war, they run away and stay with kids.
Yesterday, a lady that was involved in a car crash, actually linked to one of my circle of friends, she died because your protesters, Just Stop Oil, were blocking the road and the ambulance couldn't get through in time. She couldn't get the help she needed and she died. Earlier you said that you are a peaceful protesters. My friend is dead. How do you answer that?
We have a blue light policy, which means whenever we have roadblocks, as soon as we hear sirens, we see the blue lights, people move out of the way, and we have never had any complaints.
Who pays for your accommodation at university?
My student loan?
Have you ever paid any bills in your lifetime?
No.
So you don't know what it's like to be a homeowner and not to be able to afford your energy bills. If we stop oil, how much more expensive do you think fuel's going to be, Phoebe? Or is it that you're just spouting out words that you and your friend think look good?
They act like they don't know that not everyone who is going to the hospital is going to be in an ambulance.
I went on a date recently with this girl. She was a really hardcore feminist, which I'm cool with. But then at the end of the date, she wanted me to pay for dinner. I was like, come on. Can't be a feminist just for the good stuff. Every time a man pays for dinner, he should be allowed one sexist joke at the girl's expense. Like if I've paid for dinner, then on the car ride home, she's like, oh, wish I had a ping pong table at my workplace. I get to be like, oh, come on. That'll never fit in the kitchen.
Feminists and comedians don't go well together. Be warned.
Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing that.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
Because of
for
my
us-
line of questioning? So
Because-
we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm
is
denying that trans
dangerous.
people exist by asking
Are you?
if you're
Are
talking
you?
about women
Are you?
having pregnancies.
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence. Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you, or are
Absolutely.
they also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that
to
they're
question.
opening up people to
Oh,
violence?
we have a good
by
time in my
questioning.
class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
It must be exhausting being a man with common sense in government today.
Hey, not. Wait, what are you doing? Not. Stop that. I am not paying I am not paying my tax money to support. Get out of this type of now. Why do you have this hanging? Why do you have this hanging up? It can't be. It's part of the students. No, it's not part of anything. That is uncalled for. We are paying you to teach history, and that's what you need to be teaching. Excuse me, this is a public school, little lady. You are excused. You are. Do you see what's on this flag? No. This needs to go exactly where it is, in the garbage. You need to go in the garbage. I'm teaching my son to grow up to be a man. And I don't want you hanging no flag. I'm calling security. Hanging a flag up for you to sit up there and teach them the type of stuff I'm trying to keep them away from. You need to be teaching history. 33, please. No, you need to be teaching history. Shut up. No, I'm not. You don't tell my son to shut up. You talking to me. Your son is failing. My son ain't failing. He needs to be failing because you got a flag hanging up because of you. Over the United States of America. You need to.
A law needs to be made to prevent woke Karens from being teachers.
I really do want a husband and children one day.
Okay,
So,
that's fine,
but what
and I
I'm saying to you is the
respect
reason
that.
why I don't like feminism is because feminists think feminism is mandatory. The second you find out that a girl doesn't identify as a feminist, you're up here and you're asking a bunch of questions. I don't like the feminist movement. I think it's become very toxic and very hostile towards men. If you believed in the equality that men should be able to think whatever we wanted, you wouldn't be debating me right now. You'd say, well, more power to you because you'd be a true feminist. But you're not. You're trying to...
You're belittling other women.
I'm not belittling them. You're allowed to be a feminist. I'm not telling you you can be a feminist. You could buy a pussy hat if you left today, and I wouldn't mind. I've never had an issue with people that are feminists. I have an issue when people tell me that I now have to be a feminist. When I say that I think it's harmful to keep telling men that masculinity is wrong. Masculinity is a component of being a man. I think a society needs and thrives on strong men. There's never been a society without strong men. There's never been a society without strong men.
Feminists are just grown-up mean girls. True feminism is dead. These new feminists are nothing more than radicals.
I'm totally opposed to harming anyone. Anyone. Have you been calling? Are you concerned about the war in Ukraine? And the countless innocents being murdered there every single day? I doubt you are. Probably Putin bad. I am. I'm a Christian. I hate violence. I hate mass shootings. I have guns at home and often on my person when I'm in the United States, I'm proud to say, because I want to defend myself and those I love against violence. That's the point. I'm not perpetrating crimes. I'm not shooting strangers. I'm defending what I love. And if you're against that, I guess I would ask why. Why would you be against that?
Well, so you don't think you harbor any kind of responsibility for these hate crimes?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to be charitable. I was like, maybe you're just pretending to be dumb. Now I don't think it's an act.
Tucker, thank you for taking those questions. I'm sure you enjoyed some
Actually, I
questions from the
loved it. I
press.
just feel sorry. I mean, because I got here and the country's so unbelievably beautiful and the people are so cheerful and funny and cool and smart. I'm like, your media's got to be better than ours. It can't just be a bunch of castrated robots reading questions from the boss. And then it turns out it's exactly the same, maybe even a tiny bit dumber.
Castrated robots reading questions from the boss is a perfect definition.
Just a bigot? You can go.
Oh, what makes me a bigot, ma'am? Or sir? I'm not sure. I didn't misgender you, did I?
Oh, please, go.
Oh, that's not very ladylike.
Oh, now you're f***ing misgendering me. Ladylike.
Oh, well, what are you exactly?
None of your f***ing business. What are you?
But you said I misgendered you. If I don't know what you are, how can I not misgender you?
She can't decide what to be offended about. It must be so exhausting going through life offended and angry about every little thing.
My choice! My choice! choice! My choice! My choice! My choice! My choice! My choice!
I can smell the mouth and body odor from here. Does she actually think that she's going to get pregnant and have to make a choice? Delusional.
And the only thing that wokeness has to offer in exchange is to brainwash bright young minds like you to believe that you are victims, to believe that you have no agency, to believe that what you must do to improve the world is to complain, is to protest, is to throw soup on paintings. And we on this side of the house are not on this side of the house because we do not wish to improve the world. We sit on this side of the house because we know that the way to improve the world is to work, is to create, it is to build. And the problem with woke culture is that it's trained too many young minds like yours to forget about that.
I'm sure they wouldn't be able to sleep well after being slapped so hard by that truth.
So I can't have an opinion on abortion because I don't have a uterus, but I can be a woman without one? Got it.
It's the hypocrisy for me.
We keep referring to pro-choice people, pro-abortion. I don't think everyone is pro-abortion. I think it's pro-choice.
Pro-choice to do what?
To do what they want with their own body. Yeah, but that's doing what they want with their body.
I'm against abortion. Are you for abortion?
I don't think it matters. I think it matters what that
Well, you
person
can be
wants to do.
pro-abortion, you can be anti-abortion.
No, you...
I mean, if abortion's so good...
Okay, you're saying it's black and white.
If abortion's so good, why are you waffling at this?
Okay,
If abortion
you think
is
it's black
okay,
and white.
if
You think
abortion is
abortion
simply
black and white.
removal of unwanted tissue, does nothing wrong, why are you having a hard time saying you're pro-abortion? Just accept the damn word.
What, abortion?
Yeah, say you're pro-abortion.
Why should I?
Why won't you?
Because you want me to.
Yeah.
Dude is actively fighting his conscience but still loses. He thinks it's bad, that's it.
Let me get this patch now.
So peaceful protest?
She activated his beast mode.
What's the weirdest thing about conservatives?
Imagine being that f***ing stupid.
Oh, baby. Is there anything cool about conservatives?
No!
Nothing?
Absolutely not!
If you had to name one.
No!
Nothing?
Not a single f***ing thing.
Go like in depth on what's weird.
This is perfect. Can't come up with a single reason, but wrote his thesis on it. Sums up liberal politics.
This is undoubtedly the first dose of reality this leftist has ever had.
You remember me at all? Steven Crowder at all? No, not familiar?
No.
This is you threatening to slash my tires here?
Oh my god, dude. You need
Remember
to
this?
chill out.
Slashing my tires and actually...
We're trying to work.
Let me ask you, why do you think it's okay to threaten to slash someone's tires?
Hey, I didn't, dude.
I'm a conservative who has a difference of opinion from you, and I've never threatened actions of violence. I've never threatened to slash anyone's tires.
You need to get out or we're gonna call the police.
You know what, let's call the police officers, because matter of fact, we actually have... No, actually, I would like to speak with the police. We're about to file a report very soon. This is a part of being a man, is owning up to the actions here. When you threaten violence against someone, part of being a man is taking ownership of your actions, taking responsibility.
It's always these extremely weak and fragile types of losers that are the most aggressive online.
Assuming your husband came to you and he said, I don't want my children to date anybody who is engaged in any kind of prostitution whatsoever, ever. I don't want that, and I'm going to advise them against it, even if they found the Lord. Would you respect his decision?
You're really making it like that's the worst thing you can do, but there's sin and it's hidden, and why don't we talk about those things? Those are the things that are worse. And he used Mary.
I thought there was no such thing as a worse sin.
To expose their stupidity, all we have to do is let them talk.
What is one thing that liberals can do that conservatives can't?
They're really good at getting that septum pierced. That's what they can do. No way, you couldn't pay me to do that. One, it probably hurts, and two, it's ugly.
They are also really good at screaming, cussing, and making threats on social media.
all must have some type of mental disease, even considering this kind of thing.
Sir.
You know, I don't understand what's going on with you guys, that we're even considering this. You guys need to vote no, absolutely not, and come back to reality. Dude, you guys need to embrace God. You know, all this kind of talk, dude, from the name of the flag, dude, it is against
Thank
God.
you, sir. Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
He's had enough, and we all have too.
Free animal. That's sweet. Every single animal, they all have life. You're right. 100% right about that. They don't all need to. I feel like you haven't experienced enough life or death situations with animals. You know what I mean? Do you think an animal cares about your life? You think a polar bear is going, you know what? She's probably got backgammon on Tuesday. Maybe I won't eat her. I'm just gonna sit here with this Coca-Cola and sip it with my nephews.
Looking for validation and found humiliation instead.
To try to assign reality or any meaning to a homicidal maniac writing a manifesto, which, by the way, let the record show, also stated Spyro the Dragon, the child's cartoon, as a source of inspiration. He also cited Nelson Mandela as a source of information. I don't think that Nelson Mandela has inspired mosque shootings. You can correct me if you think I'm wrong. You would rather assign meaning to a homicidal maniac than to actually address the things that I said today that are actually harming Black America. Number one, father absence. Number two, the education system and the illiteracy rate. Illegal immigration ranks high, abortion ranks high, white supremacy and white nationalism, if I had to make a list again of 100 things, would not be on it. This hearing, in my opinion, is a farce, and it is ironic that you're sitting here and you're having 3 Caucasian people testify and tell you what their expertise are. Do I know what my expertise are? Black in America. I've been Black in America my whole life, all 30 years, and I can tell you that you guys have done the exact same thing every 4 years ahead of an election cycle, and it needs to stop.
2 white women speaking out on their expertise of being Black in America, while an actual Black woman is debating them based on her experience of being Black in America her whole life. I had to laugh at that one.
Concluded that kids don't need their development interrupted, the girls don't need their periods stopped and their voices lowered, and the boys don't need to grow breasts. What they need is psychotherapy.
It's not just the kids that need psychotherapy. Even their parents need that therapy.
College kids used to party, right? Cruise ships used to be boring. Old people who are conservative, they're not gonna laugh. College kids used to, everything has changed. Now the cruise ship people are like, make me laugh, I'm ready, yeah! And college kids are like, I'm ready to protest, I just don't know why yet. Should we protest now or wait till later? They're ready, they don't even know what to, they have the sign ready, they're just, what are we writing on this today? Chick-fil-A? Are we doing Chick-fil-A? Are we protesting Top Gun? What should we protest? We gotta protest something. They don't have fun. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So here's what happened. I get to the college, and the student advisor is the lady in charge. She goes, just so you know, we did not have a good experience with our last comedian, and we want to make sure that you understand this is the student safe space. We don't want to trigger them. So all we ask is you don't talk about race, religion, politics, gender, sexuality, and don't make direct eye contact with them. Other than that, say whatever you want. We're really big into freedom of speech on this campus. Are you though? Really? Are you?
Why do people with no sense of humor go to comedy shows?
Imploring you to go beyond what, just really consider what is this fight really about? Why is it such entrenched? I know we hear a lot about religious liberty, and quite honestly, I grew up in Christian education all through college. I don't remember any of my doctrinal classes mentioning only male and female, and that's the way it should be. If you feel it is, awesome, good. You get to believe that. You don't get to impose those beliefs on anybody else. And that's actually what religious liberty is that your right to believe that is protected, but the other person that identifies as something else is also is right to be protected. So I guess I'm here to say is, with Oshkosh Pride, we're paying attention. And we're going to be involved in this conversation. if it keeps on going?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that you guys are even considering letting bathrooms and locker rooms being co-ed. I don't care how they identify or whatever kind of delusion people live in, whatever kind of mental disease that they have. Boys are boys and girls are girls. It's simple and basic. It's always been that way, and that's why we have separate bathrooms. I'm not going to allow my girls or my boys to shower with the opposite sex because I don't want them fondled or tainted by one of these deranged people sexually.
So if I color my hair purple and say Lima woman, I can enter a female bathroom. These people are sick.
So give a woman a choice. Date a 20-year-old male virgin or a 40-year-old successful male lawyer who's bedded 100+ women. The lawyer wins every time.
For sure.
Give a man that exact choice with females in those exact positions.
The lawyer will lose.
Nobody cares that the 40-year-old is a successful lawyer.
Right.
So
I think these woke modern prostitutes need to realize that they are depreciated assets.
My question is, because it's not going to happen this cycle, what cycle do you think Republicans will nominate and elect their first black Republican senator to serve
You know what's
in
interesting?
office?
I think skin color is irrelevant. Why do you care so much about it?
I just told you, buddy, it's not irrelevant because it doesn't matter
Well, hold
to
on.
you.
No, it's interesting though. But like, you say representation. You know what? The only stop it. The only representation that matters is values, not skin color.
Oh, values. Right. Christian values are important to you because 100% of Republicans in Congress represent Christian values.
Bingo.
Black values are not important to Republicans because 0.001% of your representation.
Tell me very slowly so I can understand. What are black values?
I'm talking about the values of different communities.
No, tell me what they are. Educate me on what black values are.
That's you're picking a stupid.
You know what
part
black
of my-
values are? They're Christian because they're one of the most Christian populations in the country. That's what black values are.
How was the church during slavery? I'm curious. What did the church say about slavery?
Yeah,
they did. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there were a bunch of
but help me
pastors and
understand.
preachers, yeah.
What is the difference between a white person and a black person?
We're getting off topic.
We're getting off topic. You brought it up, man.
Which would you rather have in America, socialism or capitalism?
I would say socialism.
How do you view the word socialism, favorably or unfavorably?
I guess I would go with favorably.
Like, I have family in Europe. They go to college for free. Their healthcare is paid for. They don't have to worry about it at all.
I favor that over capitalism.
Okay, got it.
I also think I favor that, like, socialism over capitalism.
Socialism is more geared toward like helping the people in your, the governed.
I'd rather people have that same opportunity. There's a lot of excess in America.
The main idea of socialism being that people at the top are doing their fair share to help people at the bottom, trying to prevent disparity of income and trying to prevent excess, as you called it. So on campus, if there's a GPA disparity where there's people at the bottom with a poor GPA, would you support a policy where people at the top spread the wealth and give that GPA to people at the bottom?
Help them get a better GPA?
Yeah.
I'm all for helping. I wouldn't give let me just give you some of my points.
But it's about being fair, right? We got to help people at the bottom.
I've lost a lot of sleep, so I don't know if I will be fair.
It's hard. I guess it would be kind of hypocritical for me to say no.
That's completely different.
How is it different?
Because I'm studying all day for my grade.
What do you mean by sharing it? Literally, giving them a chunk of my GPA?
Yep.
Dang.
I would want to say no, straight up.
But what's the difference between earning a high GPA and not wanting to give it away, but then earning a lot of money and also not wanting to give that away?
Well, I feel like the difference is that you study for your grades, right? And grades often reflect how much time you spend studying. But
you gotta work pretty hard to become a millionaire.
I mean, I'm not denying that fact either, but for the regular working person,
Do you think there's a similarity between earning your salary and maybe not wanting to give it away to people that aren't working to earn it? And same thing with the GPA, where you earn it and you say, well, I don't necessarily want to give it to anyone who might not be working for it.
Right. I think it's just that whole sense of thinking that no one's going to work for it.
I mean, I sacrifice a lot to get my GPA. I don't go out as much as I'd like to, but that's for a greater goal in the future, the way I see it. So no, I wouldn't sacrifice my own things, sacrifice my own time to help somebody else who'd...
It sounds great to the average college student who doesn't have much and will be the one to get the most benefit. But if you're on the other side, you realize how silly that sounds.
You were heckling, yes. Listen, I'm going to stop. I don't want you to leave. I want you to stay, and I want you to feel what you're feeling, go through it, and realize that when you come to a live show, people here paid for tickets to watch me talk. And I did not ask you for all that feedback that you gave me. So you interrupted, and you actually caused a disturbance for the people who paid to watch. And now you're making it about you. Think about that for a moment. Think about that for a moment, and then politely stop and let me finish. Okay? There's people suffering more than you and I right now. We have trivial problems. My problems, I'm getting heckled at a comedy show. Yours is that you got shut down by a comedian because you were heckling, okay? There's much bigger problems in this world than that. Let it go. Let it go. Breathe it out and let it go. During the performance, you know? Okay, well, thanks for rubbing it in that it was an accident. It was just I accidentally bought the tickets that were front row. Was that?
I'm taking a step outside because I can't stand them right now.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Well, that's not an accident. Well, you know. No. Hey, guys, this is. Actually, I would beg to differ. This is a learning experience for all of us.
How many times is there interrupt?
Okay.
Is there any psychiatrist?
I'm sorry, guys.
How to make a woke person cry. Just disagree with them.
You didn't choose to be heterosexual when you were born or created, right? You just were born that way.
No, I wasn't born either way. I was born with free will, and as I grew up and as I learned and as even temptations came, then I made a decision either to be gay, bi, heterosexual, anything that you want to say out there. I made the choice of what kind of actions I was going to commit and what kind of things that I was going to do. Listen, just because you have the urge or the thought doesn't mean.
Why are they always so afraid and angry when people oppose what they believe? Like, grow up already.
Shit! You guys are all sick! Children cannot consent! You guys are disgusting! I'm here with my wife, boyfriend! Children cannot consent! Children cannot consent!
Are you a man or a woman?
What? I'm a woman.
Oh, right. So you're a wiener. Yo, let me tell you how big this is.
Not very. I cut it off.
Right. So you cut it off. Don't touch me,
Yeah,
bro.
I cut it off.
Because you're crazy.
What are you? Oh, yeah, you don't have a
I'm
gender.
mad at you.
You don't have a gender?
First off, you're coming
You're mad
around
at your
and
parents. You're mad at your
my
parents.
people.
You're mad
I'm
at your
not mad at
parents.
my parents. I love my
So
mom.
you're closer than dad?
No.
What about your dad?
No, you don't know me, bro.
See, you don't know your dad.
No.
See, that's why
that's
they're a
the
woman. This person never met their dad.
You can't talk to me.
I'll give you a conversation.
I'm trying to
You think children?
protesting. You're a fucking nut.
I'm a narc. Look at this.
Fucking move, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so scared. Oh, I'm so scared. Oh, look at they're mad. I mean, I just love it. You're hitting me. You're making it look good. You're giving me content.
All I can see is anger, not a brain in sight.
If you called the mall police, it'd be more believable. Why? What? Yeah, I think we're all confused. I think we're all equally. I think we all were more. We even knew more what was going on when she pulled out the baggie of pumpkin seeds. I think that compared to this, that was a moment of clarity for us. It's okay because
I bought your hat.
I might buy it back from you, actually. No. Let me give you a piece of advice. Okay. Yeah, let me give you a piece of advice.
Please don't.
People in this room are very not happy with what's going on right now. And you didn't know that until they clapped. But I knew that because I'm from the future. I already foresee an instance where this just keeps going back and forth, and every time I'm trying to do a joke, you say something, and you're very supportive. Obviously, you're a fan.
Comedian roasting woke people live could be a new business model. This is entertainment for me.
What kind of delusion are you guys living in? Are people really retarded? We're still having these talks? Like, what is going on here? Like,
We don't use that word.
No, it's a word. I can use that if I want. Yes, I can. And Yeah, I can't believe people are so open-minded. Their brains have literally fell out. Does nobody know why we had opposite sport teams and opposite bathrooms for boys and girls? To protect both sexes from one another? If they want to play some delusional game and we have to allow it, then they should have their own bathroom and their own support, their own sports. It's as simple as that.
You don't get to impose your insanity on us.
You can list dozens of people who had surgeries and drugs as children and would be dead today if they hadn't?
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Dozens of people who have had interventions, including gender affirming, let's say therapies, yes, hormones, surgeries, that have made their lives better. I'm not saying it didn't force them to commit suicide, but it made their lives better. What do you have to say for the happy trans community?
I guess I would throw it back at you first, because the burden of proof is on you on this one. And I'll explain why the burden of proof is on you. Because, as I went over in the talk, for thousands of years, human beings existed, and there was no such thing as trying to medically transition people into another gender. And as far as we know, there was no suicide epidemic because of it. And then in the last few years, people like yourself have come along and said, we desperately need to do this or people will be in despair and they might kill themselves. So you are making a claim that contradicts common sense, science, biology, also the entire experience of the whole history of the human race. And so what that means is that the burden of proof is on you to support it. And so I'm going to ask you, you said that people need this stuff so they can live happier lives and potentially it'd be life-saving, you said even. Aside from your anecdotes of your friends who told you so, how do you know that?
Okay, so thinking back to when I was 16 in an anatomy class, when I learned that transgender people tend to have the brain structure that confirms their identity that they identify with. And you can look that up. That's a fact.
I will look that up.
Yeah, it's a fact.
I will look that up and I won't find it.
Yeah.
It's not a fact.
Oh,
it's not a fact.
Should we all pull out Google really quick and look?
So you're saying a trans man has the brain of a woman?
No.
Dozens of trans friends. The chances of her knowing two real trans people is extremely slim.
My name's Eve, you're a local transsexual. I just wonder where you get this idea that like trans people are being indoctrinated in.
Okay, so are you say you're transsexual or transgender? And tell me, is there a technical difference between the two?
Damn, okay. Some people say that there's a difference. To me, there's no difference, so it's just either or.
Okay, so what are your chromosomes, XX or XY?
Very strange question, but
not really.
XY. I could be intersex, who knows?
Okay, so you were born as a man and you are a man?
No. I was born as a man, and now I'm a woman.
Okay, no, but you don't become a woman just because you dress like a woman.
Oh, goodness. What about my hormones?
I don't become black. Do I become black if I wear blackface?
That is a wild comparison.
Just send them into an army camp. They can get cured there real fast. And that all for now, folks. That was definitely a ride. Hopefully you got a few good anti-woke comebacks. Ready to join the backlash? Share this video and let's spread some sanity.